Welcome, everyone. Today, we're gathering for our creative circle. And today, we're here to do our session, which is called Belonging Puzzle, finding where I fit without disappearing. So the way it works, you can comment on the side, you can write questions, you can ask at any time, and I will attend to it. So last week we began by looking at what's on our plates. We made visible some of what we have been carrying. And today gently we moving into another questions of where do I carry all this life without hiding myself, without pretending, and what is the place where I belong? Belonging is a deeply human need. Sometimes, however, our desire to remain connected can lead us to alter ourselves, to find the ways that we want to belong and be not who we really are by becoming more quieter, maybe be more helpful than genuinely we have the capacity to be becoming more giving to receive. And we may explain ourselves to understand where do we belong. We may hide our needs, beliefs, our anger, our strengths. And today is not about blaming ourselves of all these patterns, and many of them we intelligent ways of remaining connected and accepting of who you are. We're simply becoming curious about what genuinely belongs and might feel like you. So well, let's begin with one thing. That agreement for our circle is that you're always free to pause. This is a recording for you that you can always pause and simply listen, or you can deeply engage. And then there's no right way to create. You will not be asked to explain anything in a way analyzing and trying to find meaning. We're just here to witness of what's coming up for you without interpreting or fixing, and you create whatever comes up for you today, right here, right now. So you're free to write comments of your name and where you arriving today. What do you feel like? What's happening for you right here, right now? And if you don't feel like engaging, you can just listen, and listening is also participation. So usually, how we run creative circles, we start with some somatic work to get ourselves grounded into the body, and then we'll go today into visualization meditation, and then we'll have time for creative practice, and then we'll have time for your reflection. So yes, feel free to comment if you have anything or just saying hello. So before we start exploring belonging, we begin by helping our body to notice where you are right here, right now. And belonging, again, is not an idea. We often recognize yourself through the body, in some spaces of your body, of what's happening with you. So let's start with the breath. And the way we're going to breathe today is we're going to have 4 counts inhale, and then hold for 2 counts, and exhale for 4 counts, and then hold for 2 counts. And this breath just gets us into the settling, into the body, connecting to nervous system and allowing ourselves to relax. So feel free to sit comfortably as you would get your body comfortable if you want to lie down, if you want to sit up straight, if you want to put cushions around you. So just to make yourself feel comfortable for this session, in the way where you can feel safe to relax your body and settle into the place. And again, we're not trying to force the body to relax. We're simply offering a few signals to get yourself into the moment and slow down. So let's start with allowing your eyes to look around the space. Just notice the 3 things that feel pleasant to look at. It could be, your favorite thing around you, and let your eyes just circle the space around you. Find 3 things, the plant, anything around you that makes you feel settled and right here, right now. Notice how your breath starts to slow down, breathing in, breathing out. And then we're starting our 4-2-4-2 exhale, exhale, inhale, exhale process. So we inhale for count of 4, hold for 2, exhale for 4. So let's start. Inhale, 3, 2, 1, hold, 2, exhale, 3, 2, 1, hold, 2, inhale, 3, 2, 1, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And you can continue with your inhale and long exhale, just releasing every tension in your body, noticing the ground beneath your body. Feel the chair, feel the floor, feeling the weight of your body on the chair, feeling the feet on the ground. Gently feel the floor that is comfortably the ground, the earth that holds you. Noticing the boundary of your skin that protects you from the outside world. Noticing where your body ends and the room begins, what surrounds you. Now place one hand somewhere that feels supportive. So just feel in your body, where do you want to feel your body, and place your hand. Perhaps it's on your heart, on your chest, on your arm, on your belly. And try to breathe in into that space. Deeply connecting to your body. Let's exhale be slightly longer. And again, breathe in. Feeling into your body, and slowly breathe out. Silently saying, I am here. This is my place. I'm right here, right now, in this moment. And I allow myself to be fully present right here, right now. And then notice is anything shifting how you feel about yourself, even by 1%, if it's something is changing. How do you start connecting to your body? And then I would like you to rub your hands until you feel the heat in your hands. Really connecting to your palms, your fingers, feeling that heat. And then deeply inhale And touch your face with the arms, with the palms and your full body. And gently settle in, and you can close your eyes or lower your gaze and get yourself comfortable for visualization meditation. So rest and slowly connect to your deep breathing in and out. And close your eyes and just notice yourself in a very dark night space. Just being yourself and walking in a dark place where there's no light, just you walking through the darkness. Just notice how you feel right there. Any emotions are welcome. Notice how your body feels. What is the temperature outside of you? How do you feel being in that darkness? And as you walk, you see there's a door. And you walk towards to the door. Just notice the door, the handle, and open it up. And in front of you there's a room with a big table on it. Just notice a big room, and there's a big table in the middle of the room. Just notice what kind of room, what kind of table. With curiosity, with no rush. Just allowing yourself to go into that room, walking around it. How does this room make you feel? Is there any details that come up for you? And as you come closer to the table, there's a big puzzle just in front of you. A big puzzle just in front of you. And as you walk closer, you start noticing this big puzzle. What is it made of? What is the material it's made of? Is there any image on the puzzle? And just be curious, observing what came up for you. What does it remind you of? Is there any image on it? And I ask you to take one piece, just one piece out of the puzzle, and just look at it. What shape does it have? What curves, points, openings? What is that piece that came up and in your hand? And just looking into that piece, observing what piece is that, and then as you do that, try to find a place where that piece belongs. Does it belong anywhere in the puzzle? Does it have a specific shape that fits in? How does it belong to the whole puzzle? Where does it fit in? Where does it connect to the other pieces? What is it part of? And as you put this piece together, if it fits in, if it doesn't fit in, just see and be curious about the shape of it. Does it find the space to fit? And notice, what is the image on the puzzle? What is the image on the piece that you just added? If it fits in, what is the space it fits in? Where on the puzzle does it fit in? And as you put it in, notice, how does it make you feel? Does it feel connected to others? Does it feel belonging? And as you do that, slowly leave the puzzle right there and leave the room with connecting back to your body, breathing in and out, and walk out of this room into the darkness. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes. Slowly coming back to your body, opening your eyes, notice the room around you, finding the favorite objects that makes you feel comfortable in your space, and get yourself back into the breath, breathing in and breathing out. So whatever you might visualize or have not, visualization is a new technique that we're using in this term. You might be not familiar or familiar with that. It would be easier or difficult to come through. Everything is welcome. This is just a way to find connection between our subconscious mind and our conscious mind. And whatever images came up, if it's just the feeling, if it's just the colors, if nothing came up, everything is welcome. So as a part of this, today we're going to use collage. If you have collage, if you have markers, if you have pencils, just have a piece of paper. Get yourself ready with all the art materials. And what we're going to start with is that first piece that you saw in the puzzle. So you can start by writing down in the comments if anything came up for you. If anything particular came up, you can also share that in the comments. And coming back to that question of what came up for me. So the puzzle could be anything. So you start with your visualization today, or you start with anything that feels at the moment that you're drawn to. It could be the material that you find comfortable. So today I am using pencils. And we are going with, so I saw the head of a tiger with its mouth opening, like it's just finished growling. So connecting to that visuals and connect, so you can take the colors of that vision that you saw. You can take the collage pieces if you have and go through the collage and start visualizing it onto your paper. So you can draw that, and we are going into not analyzing, not finding meaning, but literally projecting it, anything that comes up for you today, onto the paper. So if your puzzle was a piece that simple representing joy, and fit into a piece which was musical tones, so you see how you can project it onto the paper, so you can start drawing that puzzle, the shape of it, or you can just connect to the colors and putting it onto your paper. So starting with the puzzle piece or the image of a tiger that you saw, or the mouth of the tiger, and starting putting it without trying to make a perfect picture, visual representation of it, but as a way to connecting to that visuals into the physical form with your conscious mind. So take the markers, pencil, and we go into the drawing, into the creative part, where you just take your time and put it all out. And I will just put the music on. So we get into the creative space of navigating what came up for you. If there was nothing, so what happens is the darkness. So you take the color that comes up for you, and you start by visually connecting how you feel onto the paper. So it was nothing, connect to that feeling of nothingness, which is, it could be just the covering of the paper, or connecting to just one color and covering the whole paper, and without. So if you have nothing, so you just start with feeling of nothing and putting it onto the paper. So you can take one, pencil, draw a marker, whatever, and covering the paper as what came up for you as feeling of nothing, and you cover the paper with that. So the whole process is going into the creative part, where fitting in is not something means studying your environment, asking what is there to belong to. It's just remaining connecting to the feeling of yourself. And healthy belonging contains both connection and differentiation. So am I part of something, or do I feel I don't belong? Am I still inside of it? Or does belonging mean that every environment will be right for you? It also does not mean that relationship never require compromise. It also requires that there doesn't have to be something in between, the connection between pieces. So the questions is where you connect to one piece or the full environment, as if it was nothing, so you connect to that full environment of nothingness. We are all made of many internal pieces, and the capable part and the tired part, everything is here to come through. So just connect to that uncertain part or confident part of you, which emotions did it bring for you. Internal belonging begins when these parts are allowed to exist in any way. If it's just nothingness, if it's a particular piece, if it's a piece that represents joy and fits into the musical tones, into harmonic tones, into the color, into the blackness. We don't have to choose only what's acceptable as a puzzle. It is whatever comes up for you, and invite anything. When you hear the word belonging, what word, what sensation, what image comes to mind, without analyzing, without interpretation. So just be very soft and gentle and safe to explore that space. And as you go along and you start projecting it onto your paper, you just start noticing the details that come up that makes you feel certain ways, and you can write those emotions on the side of the paper. What are those emotions for you? You don't need to answer any questions at the moment. Just connect to that space without trying to make any answers. Just connecting to whatever came up. And if nothing came up, it's also something. So go into that space, write the emotions on the side, and just what parts of yourself do you want to bring out today? What is really coming through as the feelings when you are at home? If there's any expectations that comes up for you, like this is how it's supposed to look, the visual, this is what I saw, let it go. Allow anything to come through without expectations or judgment of what the pieces might look like. And that should be pieces. There's no clear rules of what your puzzle looks like. In my practice with this exercise, there was various images that came through, and the idea of puzzle doesn't mean it has to be a puzzle. It could be a toy, it could be an image of an animal, it could be a sensation, it could be a wave. So again, don't frame yourself into anything that might look like a puzzle. Connect to the feeling, because our mind is speaking in symbols. It doesn't speak in words of what we think it might be. And the whole idea of this exercise, the belonging, might feel like something that comes with pieces and parts, and your mind finding the ways to communicate your subconscious vision. So your vision that came as a symbol is the answer for you, without judging it how it's supposed to look from your analytical mind. And that's why very important to connect to the words of the feelings that comes with that understanding of belonging. And simply allow yourself to ride into that creative process, and visualize whatever comes through as emotions. You may receive an image, a color, a memory, sensation. It's simply word, so you just write it down, and just find the environment that gives you the feeling. So it could be the words like depth, wisdom, joy, care, humor, imagination, silence, strength. You don't have to turn this into qualities, into performance. Just connect, and they're simply part of your shape. Not imagine holding one large piece or puzzle. The piece belongs in your larger picture. And ask, what does it mean for me? I'm trying to connect to. Notice the colors, the symbol, the words, the images, and write it on the side of the paper as you continue to draw. Allow your response to be subtle, returning your attention to the feelings. It could be feelings in your body. It could be the emotions that connects to that. It could be sensations or some memories that comes up. It could be a deeper depth and wisdom that comes up with that. So as you go into creative practice, you just write down on the side of the paper what it is for you, and ask, yourself to connect to this environment that you're creating, and ask if it makes me feel soft, if it makes me feel partly belong, or do I disappear? Does it feel like a performative way of expressing it? This is again not a test of your relationship. It's not a demand to make something out of it. We are creating a simple map of your current experience, of your current state. And as you write the names or symbols, you can connect to the people that comes up for you, to the communities that comes up for you, to the environment, to the activities where you can feel connected through this image, and to the places where sometimes the memory just brings up. But you're also following the trace of your thoughts. Where does it take you? What thoughts are coming up as you do this creative process? And if memories comes up, so you write down on the side of the paper anything that comes up without analyzing, as it will guide you. Feeling how your body starts responding, if it feels tightened, if it feels uncertain, if it feels joy and pleasure. Does it have, do you use the whole page? Do you use disconnected pieces, or do you feel like connecting to the whole? So as you do this practice, just notice anything that comes up as you draw. And as you do that, you can stretch if you feel any tension. That will help you to connect back to your body. If you use collage, you can go through the images and let your nervous system have a small space between picking the image for your collage and then intuitively guiding yourself. So this is your creative place to create the puzzle piece containing the symbols, images, colors, words, representing what they bring into connection when they do need to perform or reshape themselves. The single puzzle piece may itself be composed of many fragments or represents the whole, representing the many parts of the whole self. Anything that came up for you right here, right now, today is what you need to experience. So just allow it to come through as the gateway into your present state with what's happening and what environment came up for you. You may feel like you want to cut your page into pieces and put it together. And again, this is a creative space, so whatever is coming up for you, is what you need. So the process is just allowing yourself to listen to yourself, of what might be needed at the moment to connect to that environment and puzzles of belonging. And as you do that, you're free to write any comments and ask if there's any questions. So I will give you another 5 minutes to connect to whatever comes up. We're not one single thing, we're made of many pieces, inherited, chosen, borrowed, and still forming. So often we ask ourselves, where do I belong? As if belonging were something granted from outside. But the first belonging is internal. The pieces of you learning to sit in the same frame without one exiling another. The perfectionist beside the dreamer, the caretaker beside the one who longs to be held. The puzzle lets identify the plural without being chaotic. As you tear, choose, and arrange, you are practicing the quiet, radical act, letting all your parts have a place, finding the place where it all belongs. And when your inner pieces stop fighting from the frame for the space, for the color, belonging out in the world stops feeling like a performance and starts feeling like a choice. What you're drawn to before you can explain, when your subconscious talks to your unconscious, arranging fragments into a whole, engaging the same part of us that makes meaning from scattered. This is this space for you to feel which part of you finding the privilege to exist, to become who you truly are, and finding what is the environment that comes up for you. So with this practice, you can look at pieces or the whole and notice which piece did I almost leave out and which piece comes up for me. So we'll start putting the reflection. Questions for you if you want to start slowly writing down on the side of the paper as you in your process of the puzzle creation, your piece creation. You can look at the reflection part of what surprised me about which images I was drawn to, or which images came up for you in the moment. What surprised you of the image itself. Again, we all have the need to feel belonging, and the environment we want to fit in must be not the environment that our true self deeply seeks. So this is a moment when you can allow yourself to feel what your true self, your inner voice wants you to belong to. How does it look? Where the comfort is coming from. And the next question is, which piece did I almost leave out and why? If there was any piece that didn't want to be part of, that came up into your visual, but then it didn't want to come to the page. So that's your consciousness. Your conscious mind is making a choice rather than your subconscious is showing you. So if there was in your visual, there was something that you decided to not to include, so look at that. If there was anything that you decided consciously to leave out when you started drawing, just notice what was that for you, and was it important, and why was it important to leave something or not put it out into your collage or your artwork. The next question is, what part of you spoke loudest? So if it was the vision of the tiger, or was the mouse, or was the process of finishing growling, what was the part that spoke the loudest through your visuals, through your visualization? Was it the smile representing joy, or was it the musical tones around it? What spoke the most loudest for you through this? So now as you go through this artwork creation, you have some stage at the moment, so I would like you to start witnessing of your puzzle being one piece. So it was a metal golden tiger that was forged through difficulty, representing longevity, endurance, and resilience. So the questions is all we come to as we exploring this image, come back to what emotions came through when you think of where does it belong? What is it belonging? What is it fighting and trying to endurance, resilience is a space that is the environment where it wants to use these qualities. So what does the outside of this image looks like? Where the boundaries, where the corners and frames of this environment? Does it belong to that space, or is it the place of belonging? Now imagine that your puzzle is speaking, so your puzzle piece or your image could speak. So you can ask your puzzle, your image, what is it tired of? What am I tired of? And ask if there's any tiredness in that space. Where does it come from? And then ask if I belong when. So the next question is I belong when, and see what comes up. Asking the image, where does it belong? So use this vision and representation of your vision as a guidance that you can talk to, as a guidance that you can communicate to get the answers and answer your questions, not your mind, just the vision that came through for you. So the next question that you want to ask your belonging puzzle is, I want you to remember. So if your puzzle says, I want you to remember something, what would it be? Is it something that it wants to remind you of? Something that you know, but you never delve into deeply? Is it something that it reminds you of? If it's a memory, if it's a space. And just witness coming to the reflection of what are you witnessing as the puzzle of belonging. If you look at the whole of what came up for you, what is that environment? How would you call this environment? How do you feel in that environment? Not what it represents, but what feeling does it give you? And if you feel that the belonging comes through certain parts of it, the belonging's coming through fighting through something, or finding a space to have a puzzle in general, whatever it is for you, just asking yourself as a whole, what does it remind you of? What does it show you as a whole of your environment? Where do you feel like belonging or not belonging? Where do you fit in and feeling connected or feeling disconnected? Whatever you need at the moment, this is what your subconscious will show you. It's not what you might think, assume, or want to think. It's whatever is coming through, it's coming through you in different forms, symbols, sensations, memories. So we're opening this gate for intuitive communication with what's coming for you. And now you have this brief opportunity to witness. You may ask what part of myself I want to look at, what part of myself I actually don't want to know. So just witnessing, do not interpret, just witnessing. Give yourself advice on how to connect to your feeling sensation. Invite yourself to go deeper with true self, with true feelings, and have no judgment, and be very, very safe, and be very, very nurturing to yourself without expectations or judgment to yourself. So asking yourself, what do you want to remember? What does it remind you of? Is the way to show you the path. And in your own language, just see what comes up. And if anything important came up as an insight, where can you take this into your real life? Where maybe you should build more boundary, or identify the spaces where you need this, or understanding where do you want to be. What is one relationship in which you already experiences this genuine belonging? Or where are you at the moment? What is your experience of just being? So that's your place of just a short reflection and writing down a short message to yourself. Into how to use this practice and bring it into your real world, or connecting to that space, or disconnecting if it feels discomfortable for you. And just writing this sentence for yourself. So again, I remind you that we have our atlas book that you can use, and on the place, on the page Belonging Puzzle, you have this reflection question, so you can use that to write down and reflect on that. So we have an anchoring point we always can come back. So this atlas you can download and use throughout the term as your practicing book, the workbook that has all the reflection points and places to anchor your experiences, and as well as your artwork. So as we are going ahead, I would like you to finish where you are, writing down the reflection on this, and now we're going into the closing this session, giving the big gratitude for yourself to show up and do this practice again. So let's place one hand over your heart, and then one hand onto your body. It could be, your arm, your shoulder, your leg, your belly. So one hand represents connection to yourself, which is your heart, your body, and then the other hand represents differentiation, being different to the other. So this is what we explore today. So feel both. There's a way to connect and there's a way to disconnect. And as you connect with one hand, feel that connection through your body of being yourself, on being who you are, of being true you, and recognizing. So by putting this hand on your heart, just feel that you are belonging with yourself. You have the space for yourself in the physical form. You're holding yourself together. And with the hand that is differentiating to the connection, it could be anything. It could be a hand that touches you and just reminds you you're in a physical form, you're in a physical shape, and you can remain connected to your own shape, but could be distinct presence to the whole that surrounds us, that skin that creates the boundaries around us. So there's two parts of us, the one that belong and the one that finds that there's space not to belong. And it's all in your hands. Everything is in your hand. You find the space that what you want to belong and where do you want to feel there's a space to have boundaries around you. So what we're going to do, we'll finish with the gratitude practice, and I will want to finish today with the tapping, reminding ourselves of feeling the belonging and then feeling the boundaries around the space that you're in, and the environment, and having a place for yourself to belong and place for yourself not to fit in. So there's a very clear, healthy way of understanding what you don't want, what do you want to bring in. So what we're going to do, we're going to tap, we're going to rub our hands to feel the heat in the body, connect back to our hands and the palms. And then we start by tapping our face with the feeling, the sensation. So we start with the forehead and feeling the skin, the physical form of your head. So you can start tapping your top of the head, and taking a deep breath in and out for connecting with your body, feeling in your body, and then your cheeks, and see what feels good for you to tap. And then your chin, and then your collarbones. And as you tap, just get back into connecting to your body. Thank you for taking care of yourself, taking you to this process. Belonging is not something we solve or fix or find. This is weak. We're not trying to create a right or wrong space. We're practicing our awareness of feelings, impulses, intuition. So if you go into the chest and tap your chest and come back into your body. And then slightly tap your shoulders and give yourself a gratitude, a thank you for creating this space to safely explore the deep side of you. You know, the question that comes up without judgment, without expectations, with the space that you open yourself up to with a lot of courage. And then by saying thank you to yourself, tap yourself on the shoulder and say gratitude for bringing myself here into this space, and then closing this session for you. So if you have any questions, please, I would like you to message your artwork onto our WhatsApp group. If you don't have a link to WhatsApp group, just send me your phone. I will send you a WhatsApp group. If you send the image, we can go deeper in trying to open it up for you, because this is a short version of, obviously you can come back to this video and pause at any space and go into your creative practice, and then resume it whenever you have created the artwork. Anyway, so comment anything you have at the moment if you have any questions. The beauty is that we are returning next week, and we are going into the next stages of these practices of navigating who you are, where do you belong, where you going, what's your direction, what does it look like for you, what do you notice, what you start to bring attention. Everything will come up after the session. The practice of art therapy and the practice that we do is about exploring further and going, opening up to the different perceptions through this work. As we tap into these spaces, the work continues with your mind going further and opening up for you in your life. So as we opened up this space of belonging, see, as you finish these sessions throughout this week, if you start noticing, where does this feeling come up of belonging? Where does this feeling come up of what space feels familiar, what feels uncomfortable? Where do I feel the emotion that arises today? So all these practices is about understanding what choice are you making when you're trying to fit in, or you actually feeling that this is where you belong. So I will send you the WhatsApp group, and next week we are going into Lionsgate portal, so we're going to have compasses. Everything will be provided for you, and it will be all about courage. So Lionsgate is a portal that opens up for you to get into the courage, to use the energy of the lion, of the sun, and to be courageous of making choices in our life, to be courageous in stepping into what we really believe in, or how do we find the courage to look at ourselves and find yourselves better. So thank you all. If you have any questions, yes, WhatsApp group is there for you. Please let me know if anything, and I'll see you next time.